If the vehicle cannot be moved to a safe place, the post chief or incident officer may ask for it to be snatched. The snatch crew should already be on standby. The decision on whether to snatch the vehicle will be taken by the clerk of the course. How it is snatched is generally left up to the snatch crew, but race control may decide where it's to be moved to. The clerk will also decide whether a vehicle can restart after being snatched. If the vehicle is to restart, the driver must have helmet and belt secure. Marshals may be asked to clear gravel from the car, and the driver may be told to drive alongside the track, turning the steering wheel from side to side to shake any remaining gravel free before rejoining the track. Drivers may also be told to go straight to the pits to have their belts tightened and car checked. Failure to obey these instructions from the clerk could result in serious penalties. Snatch vehicles and procedures vary from circuit to circuit. Their drivers may be commercially employed, or they may be marshals with special training. The job of hooking up the vehicle may be allocated to a dedicated snatch crew member, incident officer, or marshal. Communications will almost certainly be by radio, so it's important that snatch drivers and crew follow circuit radio procedures, outlined later in this video. If a vehicle is to be snatched, marshals on the scene should get the vehicle ready, using as few personnel as possible. Usually only one marshal, the incident officer, will be involved in identifying a suitable towing point and making sure nothing is obstructing it. However, other marshals may need to help clear gravel away if necessary. Remember to use the car for protection. Do not stand between the car that is being snatched and the track. One marshal should be responsible for safety, as it's seldom possible to get a vehicle ready to be snatched while watching for danger at the same time. If the vehicle is to be snatched by towing, then the towing point should be as low as possible. Roll bars and cages should be avoided when pulling a vehicle through gravel or over uneven surfaces because of the risk that the vehicle will dig in, causing it to turn over. Towing eyes may not be able to cope with the load imposed when a vehicle is pulled through gravel. This means there's a danger of them breaking free. Chassis members and wishbones may be preferable, and some snatch vehicles carry special strops which can be attached to the suspension of single-seaters if it's strong enough. You may need to remove bodywork to avoid further damage, prevent it digging into the gravel during the snatch, or to provide access to a suitable towing point. If you're attaching a strop to a vehicle with a D-shackle, remember to screw the post all the way in and then loosen it by half a turn, otherwise it may be difficult to remove later. While the snatch crew will do their utmost to avoid further damage being done to a vehicle during the operation, such damage will be far less than would happen if another competitor left the track and hit the vehicle. Before the vehicle is hooked up, the snatch crew member must check that the electrics are off, the vehicle is out of gear, and the steering wheel is on securely. Some series organisers require vehicles to carry special tools for removing front and rear bumpers or air dams, and to be equipped with additional towing points in the boot, attached to the roll cage, or in the engine bay to make it easier to snatch them from gravel traps. If the vehicle is being towed clear, someone will need to steer it, apply the brakes, and if the vehicle's stuck in gear or the transmission's jammed, depress the clutch. For this reason alone, snatch crew may need to wear lighter protective footwear than the boots marshals traditionally wear. Towing a car with the clutch depressed should be restricted to short runs. For longer distances, lift it onto a truck. Sometimes the driver may be asked to get back into the car and steer it, particularly if it's a single-seater with a small cockpit. The snatch vehicle should be as close to directly in front of the stricken vehicle as possible, as snatching at an angle could cause that vehicle to turn over. Make sure the front wheels of the vehicle being snatched are pointing in the direction it will be moving before signalling to take up the slack. Use the snatch vehicle or the vehicle being snatched as protection in case the tow rope or strop breaks or the towing eye is pulled free. Before moving off, the snatch vehicle operator and the person steering the vehicle being snatched must agree on where the vehicle will be left and the route it will take. Once the tow rope or strop is taut and it appears that the towing point will take the strain, it's safe to signal the snatch vehicle driver to proceed. It's essential that the tow rope or strop is kept taut and the towed vehicle does not run over it. This is particularly likely to happen as the vehicle being snatched emerges from a gravel trap onto grass or asphalt. So the person steering the car should have one foot covering the brake, ready to apply gentle pressure to avoid the tow rope or strop becoming slack and then suddenly taut. This could cause the load to exceed the braking strain of the rope or strop, or cause the towing eye to detach from the car. Marshals should follow the progress of the vehicle as it's snatched, walking behind the circuit barriers so they are ready to assist when the snatch is complete. If the driver isn't steering the vehicle but may be allowed to restart, he or she should go with the marshals. Providing assistance could involve unhitching the vehicle, pushing it behind the circuit barriers, or ensuring the driver is secure in the cockpit and the vehicle is free from gravel if it's to rejoin.
Eric, can you just be fiddling?
Marshals should always have an extinguisher close to a vehicle that's been abandoned or snatched. If a post is well manned, 1 or 2 marshals should stay with the vehicle too. Although regulations may not prevent it, competitors should be discouraged from remaining on the circuit side of the barriers to examine or work on their vehicles when this would put them at risk or require a yellow flag to be displayed for long periods. Similar restrictions may also apply to team members, even if the vehicle is behind the barriers, not least because this may delay recovery after the session is over. If the vehicle is likely to be allowed to be driven or towed back to the pits, then once the session has stopped, marshals should get the driver into the cockpit with helmet and belt secure and clear gravel or any other debris from the vehicle to make sure it isn't spread on the track. Be aware that race control may have decided it will be quicker or safer not to have vehicles drive or be towed back. Find out first before letting the vehicle go. Don't wait for the vehicle to be recovered before starting to clear up. As soon as it's safe, gravel and debris can be removed from the track and you can start rebuilding tyre walls. The senior marshal on site should allocate surplus marshals to other jobs. If the recovery operator needs to pull a vehicle out of a gravel trap, they should try to get their vehicle as close as possible to that vehicle, so they don't need to join strops together to reach it. But they should avoid going into the gravel trap or getting bogged down on soft ground.